Yo, what's up guys, I'm Yanick from the Produce School, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make acid trance music in a style similar to rising artists such as Kiki or Marlon Hofstad. Acid music is characterized by the use of the sounds of the Roland TB-303 synthesizer, which creates a very distinctive and resonant sound, which creates the acid element of the music. The tracks often feature repetitive and fast tempo beats that create a very energetic and uplifting as well as hypnotic atmosphere. Today we'll be diving into an acid or acid trance style track, and I will go over all the essentials such as the acid sound, bass line, drums, atmospheric pads, FX and so much more. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and with that being said, let's create some acid music. All the sounds that I'm using in this video come from our latest modern trance and hard house producer pack Ecstatic, and in there you will find samples, presets, project files and so much more. So each sound that I used in this video is also available in our Ecstatic pack. If you want to support it or find more information about it, then use the link in the description or click the link over here. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is to set the tempo to 145 BPM, which is a great BPM for an acid trance style track. And I'm going to start off with the kick and the bass to get a groove going, and on top of that we will build the rest of the track. So the kick and the bass will be the foundation of this track. For the kick, I'm using a kick sample from our Ecstatic pack, which sounds like this. It's a very hard-hitting trance kick, and let's put it into the playlist so we can get a beat going. Just a very simple 4/4 pattern. For the bass line, I'll be using an instance of Serum with a preset called Max from our Ecstatic pack, which sounds something like this. You can also open up the cutoff. A very simple, kind of analog sounding saw bass line. And I'm going to put the bass line on every offbeat. So that's normally where you place your open hi-hat. So something like this. And then you will get a pattern. A very simple offbeat bass, but we can put it together with the kick so you have a better idea of how it sounds in the track. And it's already giving those trancey vibes. Let's put this Serum into a mixer channel over here, and let's add an EQ to remove a little bit of the high end. Let's add a kickstart to the bass line as well for a little bit more sidechaining, because as you can see the bass is a little bit like overlapping with the kick. So to get a cleaner mix, I'm just going to add a little bit more sidechain. Something like that. Now let's add a first 303 or acid layer to the track, and I'm going to use this preset called Acid Particles from our Ecstatic pack, which is a square acid sound. You can easily make acid sounds like these yourself. What you just have to do is use an envelope on the cutoff and get a very high resonance in the filter section. Because normally it would be like this. You have a simple square plug, but if you put the resonance like really high, you instantly get that acid sound. And I will be using this first acid sound to create a kind of top layer to the bass, which will be a pattern that plays something like this. So it has a glide to the sound. And I will just repeat it like the same with the bass. Something like that. If you want to make your notes glide like these notes, make sure to go to Serum and then in the voicing section select Mono Legato and put up the portamento time. You can create glide notes like these. I'm going to add this into a new pattern and put it on top here. And then let's add an EQ because since this is a top bass and the other bass is already like taking care of the very low end, I can just remove a bunch of this low end of this bass. It's basically more like a top layer. Let's add a sidechain to it as well. The delay and reverb are already on there in Serum, so I don't really have to add that myself because it sounds fine already. Now let's work on the real acid kind of lead sound that will play on top of this and will be like the main theme of this track. For this, I'll be using a preset called Acid Perfection. It's also a preset from our Ecstatic pack. It was basically a recreation of the Behringer 303 synthesizer, and it's pretty close, so it's a very nice preset to work with if you don't have the 303 synthesizer. Sounds like this, and we'll be automating the cutoff and some other parameters to make it a little bit more interesting. But let's first create a pattern for this sound. I'm going for the root note of the track, which is E, and I will probably stay on this root note for like the whole pattern. Let's go for some 16th notes and let's see how that sounds. Find variations of the length of these notes and see if we can like create a nice rhythm and groove with it. I like that these two notes are a little bit shorter because it's adding this nice choppy effect. And a longer one here. Maybe just repeat it like so. And then for the last note, let's put it one octave up. In the arrangement of the track, we can automate the cutoff and create like very nice patterns. Something like that. Let's put this on top of the rest, like this. And I feel this needs some work on the mixing part, so let's go into the channel and add an EQ. I'm going to remove a bunch of the low frequencies because again, the bass line is already taking care of that. I don't want the frequencies to be interfering with each other. So let's create a high pass filter at around 100 Hertz. The preset already has reverb and delay on it. I think I'm just going to leave the delay and reverb of Serum on there because I think it sounds fine already. So now let's just add a simple kickstart for some sidechaining and let's see how that sounds. I think that's good for now for this acid layer. Later on, when arranging the track, I will create an automation for the cutoff because otherwise it will be very boring to listen to if it just stays like this. So it's way more interesting if it goes up. And that's what really makes it an acid track. Another layer that I'm going to add is this kind of hard acid fill sound, which sounds like this. Kind of psytrance as well, and I want it to be like an accent at the end of every few bars, so the listener has something new to listen to. Let's see if we can find a nice pattern for it. This is how it sounds in my head. Let's tweak the velocity. Just fixing the volumes of the other elements. Now let's start working on some drums. For the drums, I'll be first using a 909 closed head sample that sounds like this. And let's put it in a pattern and create a simple 1/16 note rolling pattern. Put it into the playlist. And now just lower down the volume. Let's add an open head as well. Let's use this sample from our Ecstatic pack and put it on every offbeat, so at the same rhythm of the bass. And then a clap sound. Also 909 works really well usually. Let's add a little bit of reverb to the open head, just with a very short decay. So it has a little bit more room, something like that. And let's also add this rave loop from our ecstatic pack for some extra fatness in the drums. Makes the drums sound a little bit more full, which is great. Now that this loop is ready, let's start arranging this drop a little bit more. Copy this a few times over. First start by removing all of the drums at first. So something like this. So the drop first starts with just the kick and the bass and the acid elements, and then the heads come in, and then I want a little break here, so I'm going to remove the kick here, then the clap hits, and then I want a longer break here, so remove these kicks. And then let's add the rave loop here. Another drum element that I want to add is a ride. For that I'll be using a ride from our ecstatic pack. Kind of 909 ride. And let's put this into a new pattern and create something like this. So right here. And when hitting the graph editor, we can change some velocities. So we can create a pumping effect. Let's put it into the arrangement now. And lower down the volume. To keep things interesting, I'm going to automate a few things. The first and most important thing is the filter cutoff of the acid sound. And I'm doing this with macro 1 in Serum. Now let's go to Tools, Less Tweaked, and then hit Create Automation Clip. And now we can make this acid sound a little bit more like a real acid sound. So it changes over time. And I think I just want the cutoff to open gradually during the drop. So maybe something like this. And go higher here. That works. Now let's also automate the cutoff of the other acid sound, the square acid sound, and create a nice pattern with it. Hit Create Automation Clip. Something like that should work, and let's just copy it over here. In the second part of this drop, I also want to introduce a pad, and for that I'm going to use a Serum preset over here, which is called Synth Lore. Some basic supersaw strings. And let's create a new pattern for it and create some chords. Starting off at just the root note of the track. Or the root chord, which is E minor. And then maybe go like this. I think that should work. Let's put it into the pad or the arrangement. To give this pad a more trance feel, I'm going to add a gross beat on it, which is a plugin from FL Studio. And I'm going to use the preset Trance Gate 1, which creates this very nice stutter. Very, very transy like this. Let's add EQ to remove some low frequencies. And let's add an imager to make this a little bit wider. Make it very wide in the mix. And let's add a kickstart for some sidechaining. Let's also automate the cutoff of this pad over here. Let's create automation clip right so. Then some final things I'm going to add are things like a crash, like this one, very simple. Just every 4 bars. And let's add this downlifter as well. Like that. And this uplifter for transition part. Then some drum fills like this clap fill. Like here. And I want to add this snare fill as well in this part only. And maybe for a little build up. Then a high pass filter on the master for some transitions over here. So it removes the low frequencies. Like that. And that's everything for this acid style track. Here is the final result. I hope you could learn a thing or two by watching this video. If you have any questions about things that I did during the video, then let me know in the comments and I will try to get back to you on there. For now, I want to thank you guys so much for watching and I hope to see you in a next video.